Alright, basketball strategy today. What are you working on?
Today, I am going to work on my shooting, my three-point shooting.
Yup.
This past couple of weeks, I've been really streaky and not very great at
Terrible.
it. And I've been working a lot on getting down the lane, driving, ball handling skills. So I'm like, okay, I'm there. Now let's back it up, get back to the three-point line, create space for myself.
Right. And while he's doing that, I gotta head to the studio because I need some direct sunlight. I'm shooting a skincare campaign, and skincare shots look so much better when there's some actual light on it. So you'll get like a little behind the scenes. Okay, bye. Have fun with your basketball. Shoot many dunk shots.
Many dunk shots.
Bye.
Many dunk shots. Goodbye. Get out of the car.
Okay.
Get out of the
Alright, so now that we got the shots, I'm just gonna package up a couple orders. Also, a big thank you to everyone that supported the drop. Like, regardless of the order value, even if you ordered a keychain, it just shows that you really trust me and support kind of my vision with Less Shitty, and it just really meant a lot. There were a few of you guys that left comments on your orders, and it just really meant a lot. So thank you guys. So we sent out all of the orders for the drop just like a couple days after. So if you ordered on drop day, you should have gotten a order confirmation or delivery confirmation. Cody, he ordered a belt. Thank you, Cody, for watching this. Gonna make a couple more mailers first. Here's what she looks like. Wow, wow. Using the water activated craft tape just makes it so that the entire packaging for the craft mailer is recyclable. I'm using like a plastic tape. That's it. And now you can just toss this whole thing in your paper recycle. Easy. And here is our Berta belt. We're actually sold out of the mediums and larges now. I'm not too sure if I ever talked about why I named it the Berta belt, but basically Berta is short for Alberta, which is the province that I'm from, that Ryan is from. And Alberta is definitely a bit more like the Texas of Canada. It's a bit more hick. And because the style of the hardware is obviously Western influence, like kind of cowboy style, you know, it's just paying like homage to where I'm from. Plus, Ben was telling me how like during like the cowboy times, there were specific markers to denote where you were from, and I guess silver hardware is like the West Coast marker. So yeah, the more you know. Protect the hardware with this kind of like honeycomb paper. It expands like that. Also gonna add the keychain and the thank you card. Let's go.
Oh.
How was your basketball?
Very good.
Many dunk shots?
A couple.
What?
Yeah, big dunks, two-handers, East Bay, tomahawks.
Okay. It's been a while, but we're here. Alright, so this is our go-to. It's the chashu tamago, which is the pork and egg. Ryan, same thing. Gotta get the fried garlic. How was it? I feel like it's been a while since we last had ramen. Thank you. Show them your basketball bag. Wow.
Not only is it a backpack, it's a duffel bag.
Wow.
And a backpack.
Nice. Hi. Hello. You know what time it is? Travel time. Ta-da! Whoa.
Tokyo Drift. Calgary Drift.
So yeah, we're in Calgary this weekend for a buddy's wedding. Very exciting. I think Calgary's quite hot right now. We'll see what we're packing. We also got to pack for the wedding. Should we bring 2 carry-ons? I think we should. Change of plans. We're actually just gonna check in a bag as well. How much underwear do we need? 1.2 times per day is a good. All of our underwear is the Lululemon Always in Motion. Some of them are the mesh and some of them are the regular. Nobody asked, but thought you should know.
See, they're always in motion. Can't stop.
Alright, let's make a drink. We got first Diet 7-Up. And then the star of the show, we got some Gia, which is a non-alcoholic aperitif. Alright, quick taste test. It's kind of like medicinal. That's probably not the best word. It's like a little bit cinnamony, like spicy, herbaceous. It's nice to have mocktails that like aren't just straight up fruit juice. You know, there's some complexity to it. Initially, this episode was supposed to be a podcast, but for whatever reason, I wasn't feeling it. Like none of the topics really spoke out to me, and I didn't really just want to force it for the sake of doing a podcast. So we're just gonna do a little Q&A segment. How do you reapply sunblock after you apply concealer, etc. later in the day? So my favorite way of reapplication is with sunscreen sticks. It will kind of move your makeup because on most days I wear very like natural makeup or minimal makeup. Even if the sunscreen moves it, it's not noticeable. I know some people like the sunscreen mists or the powder, but from what I've researched, the mists and powders are not very consistent for like even application, whereas the sticks, as long as you go over the same area multiple times, it will give you decent coverage, especially for reapplication. It's not perfect. It's never going to be as good as like reapplying your sunscreen completely, but I do generally prefer the sticks for reapplication, especially along the neck. It's a lot easier. Not sure if you touched on this before, but do you ever get insecure? Oh yeah. I could give you guys a very tangible example. Like I've been working on my acne scars for a very, very long time, like over 5 years, and before that I dealt with acne for nearly a decade. Even though I've gotten so much more comfortable with my acne scars, there are still so many instances where it just really makes me feel like shit. When it comes to vlogging, I am so hyper aware of the lighting and how it makes my acne scars look, and I just end up completely cutting out that segment from the video just because of how bad my scarring looks to me. And obviously right now my scarring looks great, like you can barely see it, but it's just because of the lighting. And I know it probably sounds very like vain, but yeah, obviously I still get insecure about my physical appearances, putting it online for everyone to see. You know, I get comments daily about how I look, how I present myself, the way I dress. So obviously I am very aware and critical about that to myself. Because I was such a shy and quiet kid and dealt with a lot of like insecurities growing up, I think it's always gonna be a part of my personality to some degree. And I will say it's not as limiting anymore. Although I have insecurities, it doesn't restrict me in any capacity, which I'm very thankful for. But it's also taken me a lot of time to get to this point. But yeah, I definitely still do have insecurity. That shitty jewelry. You know what? I was actually speaking with a local jeweler. He does like all of the hardware, everything by himself, using like pure silver. But it just wasn't really an accessible price point, just because everything is handmade. He does it himself, and although I would love to for a collection, I think at that like luxury price point, you know, like close to $1,000 for a piece, it's just not the, I guess, market I want to put less shitty in. I want to go for that premium category, not so much luxury. So jewelry eventually in the future, if I can do it a less shitty way, maybe by using like dead stock metal or like excess metal, if that's a thing, because that's what I did with my leather belts and key holders. So I'm sure it's gonna happen. It's just I gotta find a less shitty way to do it. So eventually. How do you stay consistent with your routine? At the end of the day, it all just comes down to discipline. I know I've talked about this before, but you know, I don't have this like burning internal desire every single morning to go to the gym and work out. I do it because I am disciplined and I know that it's gonna help me currently, but also in the future, both physically and mentally. So I just do it. There are definitely days I don't want to go, but I feel like that's when discipline really comes in. Motivation is definitely helpful in the beginning, and if you're going through a slump, it's like, you know, searching for that motivation. Intrinsic motivation definitely helps, but for the day-to-day, like, it's all about discipline. So you just got to do it enough, create that positive association, reduce the friction so that it becomes your routine. Also just acknowledging that, like, not everything has to be a routine. It doesn't have to be every single day. I think just kind of helps set up that realistic expectation so that you don't feel like a failure every time you don't do something. Like, it could be a routine for you, let's say going to the gym as an example, to go once a week, going for an outdoor walk twice a week. Like, that in it itself can be a routine. Routines don't have to be like a daily thing. You can always like change the interval that the routine repeats itself, if that kind of makes sense. So yeah, that's just something I used to work on with my training clients, is that, yeah, what does routine mean to you? Like, are you talking about a daily routine, a weekly routine, a monthly routine? So yeah, hope that helps. Ooh, this is an interesting question. Did you have to work on how to feel more comfortable with your feminine side? I am struggling. I think for me, after coming out and obviously like dating Ryan, I've slowly began to feel more confident, kind of expressing my more feminine side, whether that be through like skincare or beauty or even just like embracing fashion a bit more. Not to say that those characteristics are feminine nor masculine, but it's just what people associate those things with. But I do think it just comes down to repetition, just kind of giving yourself time and room to kind of explore in certain areas, whatever that may look like to you. For me, also having that like distance away from family really helped me explore and, you know, eventually come out, because I don't think I would have been able to do that if I still lived in my hometown. I don't know if it's something I have been actively trying to work on, but more so something that, you know, maybe I just felt more comfortable expressing things that I've always wanted to do but felt limited by, and now it's just truly not giving a fuck about what other people think. Like even just getting tattoos. My mom was so against any single tattoo. I remember wanting tattoos like growing up, and I would always ask like every single time, like, can I get a tattoo? Can I get something little? And it would just immediately be no. And I think after moving out, you know, becoming an adult, coming out, living my own adult life, you know, I was able to do all of this just because I felt like I didn't have that restraint anymore. And yeah, I don't know. I hope you get to feel that one day as well. There's quite a few comments about how to start a YouTube channel. What advice do you have for anyone who wants to start a YouTube channel? Different people asking some tips you would recommend to starting YouTube. I feel like this could be like a completely separate video, but I have been making YouTube videos for the past 9 years. I have not had one single video go viral, and here I am doing it full time. So I think you just have to be aware that if you are going to be doing the type of content that I'm doing, which is very slow, kind of lifestyle vlogging, where, you know, the title isn't super catchy or SEO optimized, the thumbnails are very essentially boring when it comes to YouTube standards, but I'm able to build a more genuine and deeper connection with you guys just because it's my personality. This is who I really am, and like this isn't a show. Like I'm not focusing on retention time or click-through rate with my thumbnails. I'm just doing this because I love it, and I love how intentionally slow it is. I always talk to, like, I have a studio where I share with a couple different YouTubers, and their content is so specifically driven to getting the views, growing their audience, which is great. But I think you just have to figure out what you want to do. Like, do you want to be the Mr. Beast where it's highly produced, you know, it's super entertaining, or do you want to be like the more relationship-based content creator where if you do want to do that, it just takes time? And knowing what I know now, I don't think it needs to take 9 years. It just took me that long to kind of figure it out. But yeah, I mean, it just takes time. Just be consistent with it. Something that really helped me is just treating it like a job because I wanted it to become my job. So there's a lot of creators that say, don't force creativity, or you can't force creativity. Like, post when the video is ready, when you feel ready. Whereas for me, I gave myself a strict deadline of every single week post something, because at least that gives you the time and opportunity to practice editing, talking in front of the camera, storyboarding, planning, etc. So it just really depends how you want to take your channel, but if you're interested in it, just start it. Like, talk about things that you enjoy and just go from there. Yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up here. We got a pretty early morning tomorrow because we gotta head to the airport, and I guess we'll see you guys then. Ready? Let's go. Let's go. Word of bound. Alright, room reveal. Rolling. Okay. Ooh. Washroom. Hello. Whoa. Great washroom. Okay.
That's the Alberta luxury of space. Let's check out the view.
Nice. Welcome to Calgary. Where's that needle thing? Oh, I see the reflection of it right over there. So now we're checked in, we're just gonna go grab some coffee. Alberta, especially Calgary and Edmonton, have some actually really great coffee. Don Sebastian and Monogram are probably the bigger ones. So yeah, we're just gonna walk around and just see what we can find. There's the needle thing. What is it called?
Tower?
Space needle?
That's Seattle.
Oh, Space Needle 2. Oh, look how cute this is. Hi, Kay.